Donald Trump has accused Google of bias. The president claimed only negative coverage about him was being promoted, and he vowed to take action.
Google search results for Trump news shows only the viewing reporting of fake news media. In other words, they have it rigged for me and others so that almost all stories and news is bad. Fake CNN is prominent. Republican, conservative and fair media is shut out. Illegal? 96% of results on Trump news are from national left-wing media. Very dangerous. Google and others are suppressing voices of conservatives and hiding information and news that is good. They are controlling what we can and cannot see. This is a very serious situation. Will be addressed.
And the White House has not yet given any response to the issue, although we did ask for comments. That's despite Trump's accusations attracting plenty of media attention. It's not the first time, of course, the tech giant's search system has come under fire. Research and studies have shown Google can alter results for its users. Also, Google itself admitted automatic algorithms can sometimes have issues since they're created by inherently biased humans. Well, Google has addressed Trump's accusations, claiming there's no political agenda to its search engine and its results are not biased towards any political ideology. Let's go live now to political and media analyst Lionel for more on this. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you on, as always. What do you make of Trump's claims? I mean, he's got a reputation for saying some pretty outrageous things here. Is he making too much of a deal, or is the system actually rigged against him?
Well, there's a more interesting question. Not that that's not interesting, but let's assume, arguendo, that everything he's saying is true, that everything is biased, that the same amount of filter metrics are misapplied or applied differently for one particular ideology or another. Let's just assume that to be true. The next issue is, what duty does a search engine have? What legal jurisdiction does anybody have to enforce or to change that? And is this merely somebody just accepting or addressing or adopting a particular phraseology or frame of reference? Now, in the United States, when it came to the airwaves, since 1949, there's always been this attempt at making traditional airwaves fair through the fairness doctrine and its later iterations. So the question that people have is not whether if it's true or not, but assuming it's true, assuming that there is absolutely bias, what jurisdiction does the government have? What can be done? And is this a new arena? Do these massive social media platforms represent and achieve a place in history that is heretofore unknown, where in the old days we would have newspapers or we would have, an individual media source? This is a library. It's an international means of sourcing data. In some cases, the only information that people have. Let me give you an analogy. Let's assume I own a company that makes a particular type of ink, and that ink is used in 95% of all newspapers when newspapers were popular. And I decide not to sell to certain newspapers because they may not like their content. Could anybody claim that I, a private citizen, am interfering with the First Amendment expression, which normally is allowed only, that protection, by the government? Or is it so enormous? Do I have a position that's different than others?
You make an interesting point, Lionel, because Google, of course, claims it never ranks results according to their political bias. But in fact, just last autumn, it said it's going to de-rank our website despite doing that, which is also interesting, isn't it?
Well, there's different ways. It's interesting. The methodology, de-ranking, shelving, shadow banning, algorithms. If I have a library and I put your book in a part of the library that nobody ever knows about, in the basement that nobody has access to, but I say, no, it's here in the library, we have it. Nobody's ever seen it. Nobody has access to it. We're getting into, again, a new world. The law always lags behind technology. Nobody, the drafters of our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, never imagined that we would have this. So if I, for example, say let's say the opposite, rather than de-ranking you. Let's say I am so in love, theoretically, assuming arguendo, with your particular ideology that I push you. And I can type in anything, wisdom, your name comes up. Brilliance, your name comes up. Well, that's a positive type of bias. And that's another aspect of this, is that is pernicious. But what's going to be interesting to see is how the courts deal with this and how the international community does this. And are these organizations so great and so large and so Brobdingnagian in their colossal size that trade agreements or trade considerations can be implemented? It's going to be fascinating to see.